Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It has been a little bit too long. I didn't upload for about 2 weeks, but now I am back, honey. I am back. And just in time too, to show you guys a little bit of love for this Valentine's Day look. So today's video is gonna be a tutorial. These kinds of videos are getting suggested, and I know a lot of my protruding eye queens would really love to see how I do a date night look too. So get ready to feel like your best self, and let's get into it. I am so excited. It has been a hot minute. Right off the bat here, I'm gonna go in with a primer I've not used in a while, and it might be expired, so I hope it's still good. But this is the Pacifica Crystal Primer. It says the powered up primer, it's illuminating, and it's perfecting. If I remember correctly, I like this primer. I just feel like it's really scented. A lot of Pacifica's products are super scented. Oh, I feel like it's gonna explode on me. Oh! It actually did okay. I'm just gonna do 2 pumps and we're gonna work this into the skin. I feel like there are 2 kind of classic Valentine's or like just date night looks. I wanna make sure this video is accessible year round. So this is a Valentine's Day look. Valentine's Day is actually tomorrow when I'm filming this. Anyway, I feel like there's the classic bold red lip, right? And the kind of like rule with a bold red lip is that you kind of go easy on the eyes at least. Like maybe at least light colors. I feel like you could do a glam silver eye with a red lip and it would still look okay because it's not like dark. And then there's the kind of like dreamy, you can do something crazy on the eyes and go kind of light on the lip. And for me today, I'm gonna go pretty dreamy on the eyes. I am gonna get ahead of myself here because I still need to put primer on my eyelids, but this is the palette I'm gonna be using today. This is the Juvias Place Nubian Coral 3 palette. I haven't used this in a while on the channel and it's actually really, really great. The pigment is insane. The glitters. Let me show you. Like, are you serious right now? So anyway, I've used this palette before on the channel, but I've used kind of more, since it's like coral shades, I go a little bit more peachy, and I feel like this palette can kind of be divided up between like orangey peaches, kind of like this, and then like kind of pinky peaches like this. I feel like it plays really well to both definitions of the shade peach, which I feel like some people really do imagine peach as more orange pulling, and some people imagine it more so pink pulling. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I really need to put primer on the eyelids. And I'm just going to tap that in with my finger. Tap being the key word there. I'm not going to swipe. I usually don't mind swiping eyelid primers on, but when it comes to something like this, I really want to make sure it takes to every single part of the eyelid. So I really just take my time and pat it in. Okay, I definitely fast forwarded you through that, but it's been a solid like 2 to 3 minutes of me just tapping my eyelids. And now that my eyes are kind of sitting, I'm gonna give them a minute and I'm going to go in with this e.l.f. like face contouring kit. This is the cream one, and I'm just gonna use the viewfinder for the most part with this like blending and sculpting brush, also from e.l.f. And I'm gonna sculpt out this face, and I'm gonna go pretty heavy because I'm gonna put foundation on top of it. I just kind of blend this color and this color down here for the like outside areas of my face. And then on the interior part of the face, I tend to go with like lighter browns to still create a shadow, but then like, you know, it still kind of makes that effect of lightening your face in the center. And I'm gonna do this for my whole face, so I'll fast forward you guys through this part too. Okay, so all of that like base contour is on. It is intense and that's purposeful. I could go a lot more intense with it too. Just because I am going to be putting foundation over it, but I don't think I'm going to go with a super heavy foundation just because I still want it to kind of look natural. My advice to you is to maybe place down your contour with a brush first to really get an idea of like the specific angles and lines you want, and then blend over it with a sponge. Okay, so I'm going to be using a tape trick, and I know I just put down color product on my face, even around my eyes, so you can do this first, but for me it doesn't make too much of a difference because this line, even though the tape will probably take up some of the product, I still have to put makeup on that area anyway after I take the tape off to really like create that stark line. If you want a stark line, are those angles somewhat even? Somewhat. Let's look at what we're actually going to be doing here. I kind of want to get a gray base down. But like I said, I kind of want to go into this pink color for sure. This is a sparkle shade over here that's kind of like a peachy shimmery color. That's what that looks like. I feel like that could be really dreamy. But let's start with this like taupey gray base. Okay, so that like taupey gray hue is down. I didn't put it on super, super thick. I just did a nice light dusting to kind of even out the eyelid and make sure that there's a little bit of powder down. The reason we do this step is that if you were to go in with any color that you like actually want your eyelid to be without using a transition color like this first, honest, it's very likely that the color would kind of stick to the tackiness of your skin and your eye. So it's kind of a beginner's tip, but I really like using it, especially when I'm going for like softer looks that I really want to be like blended to the nines, you know? Okay, so I'm actually gonna use the same brush to go into this pinky shade down here, and I'm just kind of pushing that up onto the brow bone, depositing that color in the crease and above, not really taking it down onto the lid too much yet. Okay, so my vision for this look, and I'm telling you my vision now because I feel like it often doesn't turn out exactly how I'm imagining, but my vision for this look is to kind of use this lovely reddish kind of glitter on the outside of the lid a little bit, and then use this very peachy glitter on the center of the lid. I'm gonna go into this brown shade here to kind of build up a little bit of pigment and color underneath where I'm going to be placing this guy, and I am really tapping off excess, and I'm using a slightly more dense brush this time, starting at where the tape kind of meets the inner corner, and bring that V dimension out, flicking motions, not going too heavy. I haven't taken any more on the brush, but I'm just kind of blending that into the pink shade that's already there. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit more, and this time I'm going from the outside in. So last time I was flicking outward, I'm just gonna kind of flick inward and allow the brush to kind of graze the lash line a little bit. And I'm just kind of making this like almost scratching motion over and over again. I'm not taking it up, I'm not doing circles. And again, I'm leaving it lighter than I'm kind of imagining it so I can add more later. Okay, so setting down that slightly more dense brush and going back to the really big fluffy brush I was using, not taking anything new and just using that to kind of blend all these colors together using windshield wiper motions. I think what I'm gonna do is plan to build it up, but I'm gonna start with this smaller fluffy brush. I'm gonna dip into that red shade and touch this outer corner. And my plan is going to be to draw it not all the way up the tape, but draw it kind of up to this V. And I'm just kind of staying on this line, but if you want to, you can create a V where you would place it up here too, and just on the outer corner of the crease, but you could do that. The reason I'm not is because of my protruding eyes. I feel like emphasizing my crease more isn't something I really need to do, especially putting glitter in my crease. I like to kind of focus on the horizontal lines that I put on my eyes, even if it's just a subtle look like this, because I find it just kind of helps me create the shape that I want. I'm gonna take a slanted brush and get it wet with some rose water and go into that same color and kind of do a bit of a liner. Ooh, it's a little intense. Okay, I'm gonna go back into that like peachy, pinky shade with the really big fluffy brush, tap off a ton, and just kind of add a little bit out here to kind of almost make that like outer point of the liner fade a bit. And I'm gonna make it a little more intense on the outer part of the eye and then just kind of blend it into the crease slightly. Okay, darling, it's time. I'm going to wet my finger a little bit and go into this very peachy, shimmery shade here. This is the part where I don't skimp out. This is what it's looking like on the finger. Oh my gosh, this is everything I wanted it to be and more. There are a few tiny little changes I'm gonna make. So I'm gonna go in with the big fluffy brush into the pink really, really lightly, and just kind of build a little bit more of that pink shade into the crease. Okay, and then now just put a little bit more of that like deeper rosy red glimmer on the outside, just to kind of intensify that glitter a little more. Okay, I'm gonna stop touching it. We're done with the eyes. It's time to take the tape off. Oh, darling. Oh yes, just so you can see the tape, there is certainly more than just eyeshadow on this. A little bit of like my contour stuff did come off on it, but that's okay. I actually am planning to alter these lines a little bit, just kind of fade them so they're not quite as sharp. That's just my personal preference, but I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm gonna do that once we actually have our full face on, and I'm also gonna take that reddish glitter shade onto the lower lash line. Okay, we're ready for face products, and I'm actually gonna use a foundation I have not used in a while on the channel, but I really, really like. This is the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. It has SPF 20 in it. It has this like really big doe foot applicator, and I'm actually gonna draw this on the face. Maybe just kind of in dots. And then I'm just gonna go in with a sponge that's kind of made for liquid foundations. And I'm just gonna take my time and blend this in. Oh my gosh, guys, I got up to get a glass of water and I took my lapel mic off and then I forgot to put it on for this last bit where I was putting on the concealer after blending in the foundation. I might keep it if I can like enhance the audio, but it was sitting several feet away from me. So If that's cut out, that's why. But anyway, I'm taking the e.l.f. Camo Concealer sponge with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. And this is the part where I kind of make sure that I'm covering the area that the tape was on, if that makes sense. The foundation did cover that area, but this is just where you can kind of make sure that these lines are actually defined. Okay, so that's looking really, really nice. I'm just making sure I'm patting out those creases. And before I do anything else, I'm going to powder. You can tell I'm like trying to keep my eyes like very relaxed and like not crease them. I'm just gonna pat that on the base of my hand because I don't want that much. And then just kind of sweep underneath here. Try not to disturb anything. And while I'm at it, just like dust the remnants on my chin and my forehead. Okay, now it's time for bronzer. I'm gonna go in with BareMinerals BarePro Glow Bronzer. I almost said Bare Glow Pro Bronzer. I'm just gonna do one pump of this on the back of my hand. It's really liquidy, as you can see. I'm gonna go in with the same sponge I used. I'm just gonna kind of spread this all over the sponge here and lightly go in and tap it exactly where I want it. I also always put like a little bit of color on the bridge of my nose, which I know is kind of like the opposite of what people have told you to do for a while, but I have a bump in my nose, so I like to kind of make it recede into the face a bit and just highlight here and here. Okay, here comes one of my favorite parts of this entire look. Well, if you know me, lips are kind of my favorite part of any look, but this is a close second. This is the Aether Beauty Rose Quartz Crystal Cheek Palette. This is the most beautiful thing, and as you can see, it goes so well with this look. This is Compassion, this blush shade here. This is a little bit more shimmery. It has a little bit of shimmer in it. And then this is Self-Love, and Self-Love is completely matte. I love Self-Love because it's a little bright, and sometimes I focus it more so on the apples of the cheeks. But today I'm gonna go in with Compassion first and just kind of lightly work that. And then I'll see if I want a little hit of Self-Love. For this look, I'm using whatever is left on the brush. I'm not going back in again. And I'm just kind of sweeping down the sides of the nose and up onto the bridge to do that kind of, you know, like youthful kind of glow thing. But I feel like I go pretty heavy-handed with blush sometimes, and I'm gonna try not to do that today. I am gonna go in with just a tiny bit of Self-Love on the cheek, because I'm just gonna smile and kind of pat that around that area. Then I'm gonna dust whatever is left on the tip of the nose. Okay, now we're ready for highlight. Oh, this is looking so good so far, guys. I have it on the brush here. I'm really gonna kind of move my face in the light for a second and figure out exactly where I want this to hit. And for this look, I really think I wanna lift my cheeks more so than I normally do and almost put it directly underneath this line here that I've created with the shadow. And then I'm taking whatever's left and I'm going right on the apples of the cheeks, because this highlight specifically is so gorgeous and doesn't like draw too much attention to texture on the cheeks. It's actually really good at just making you look really hydrated and juicy. Woo! Okay, what's left? We've got to do brows, which I think I'm going to use the e.l.f. Eyebrow Kit for this. I don't always do this because it can come across a little intense, but it's like a waxy pomade kind of formula. And so I do like using it when I really want to be precise about the fade of my brows. If I just take a little time on it, it ends up looking really good. So I'm going to step off camera and do that. I'm also actually going to do my mascara off camera too. Ooh, I feel like for a look like this, I really should be using the Thrive. It's been a while since I've used Thrive on this channel. All right, guys, so this is what it's looking like with mascara done, with brows done. I blended out the sharp lines here a little bit, so it's still like defined, but I just kind of softened it. And then I did put that rosy, deeper glitter shade on the bottom lash line too. So last thing that we have to do is lips. I'm just gonna take this makeup wipe, kind of like a blank slate here, and also kind of exfoliate them. I just realized I had a little bit of concealer that I left on some problem areas that I did not blend out until now. I'm gonna go in with the Mented Lip Pencil in the shade M5. It's just kind of like a nice chocolatey brown shade. I'm very lightly gonna line the lips with this, and then I'll show you the lip product that I really want to use today. It's one of my favorites, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so I know that's heavy, but I'm just going to take my finger and rub along these lines. And I did purposefully build up the most lip liner on the bottom edge of my lip just to give it a little more dimension, but I didn't really overline my lips or anything this time. The lip product that I decided to go with today to finish out the look is the Ilia lip conditioner in the shade Forever. So this is what the packaging looks like. This is the most beautiful shade. I'm actually going to swatch it for you like in full opacity here so you can really see, because I think I'm just going to dab it onto the lips today. It's warm without being totally just like brick. So I'm just gonna kind of dab this onto the lips and create like a nice natural stain, and then I'll show you the final product. So this is the final look all put together. Ignore the lapel mic, but I've got my like nice kind of lace velvet tank on underneath this. I put on my black leather jacket. I actually was gonna put in like earrings or something. If I did, I would probably just put like diamond studs, nothing too crazy. But I actually kind of like the look without any jewelry. I feel like it lets the statement pieces in the look, like the leather jacket and the lids, kind of speak for themselves. This is absolutely something that I would wear out on a date night with Seth if we were going actually out and it wasn't still in the middle of a pandemic. That is it for this video, guys. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you liked the video and you want to see more content like this. If you're new to the channel, my name is Sam Young and I do content all about like cruelty-free and vegan and just clean makeup and beauty and living and lifestyle and all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in any of that kind of more minimalist living, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you in the family. But for now, I will see you in the next video.